Hey my Shuga Bears, welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF. It's your host, Nicole. It's where I say stay bougie on them. It's me feeding you feminism for the soul. It's my soul food offering. It's where I apply pressure to issues by being critical and logical. Now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get to the commentary where I can guarantee you I will be doing too much because that's just me. And like Sheree said, who's gonna check me, boo? Welcome, Black. You are tuned into the Bougie AF channel. This is your girl, Nicole, where I say stay bougie on them, and I'm serving you feminism for the soul. You can check me out on the people's Instagram at BougieAF_ish. You can also check me out on Twitter at I'm_bougie_AF. So listen, y'all. So I have a lot on my mind. I don't have anything from Clubhouse that I really want to talk about. It's still trashy. It's still, ghetto, ratchet, and all those things. And people are still doxing. And I'm not quite sure that you can redox or be redoxed on the same platform. I think once your business is out there, it's out there. So there's no such thing as redoxing. But you got a whole bunch of contrived bullshit, drama back and forth. I guess I'm just waiting for Mona to come through the Clubhouse and give these people the blessing and the attention that they are so desperately acting out on this motherfucking app. Please come and save these folks. With that being said, nothing from Clubhouse, but I do have a topic that I do want to talk about in terms of an observation and things that I feel like people try to, conflate in terms of mental health and in terms of just poor ass piss behavior in relation to mental health or in relation to disabilities, in terms of someone maybe on the spectrum or someone maybe having like autism, and somebody who may have Down syndrome or just undiagnosed like learning disabilities that may, and oftentimes that we see a lot within the Black community. And so what ends up happening a lot is that like when I sit back and there's just people with trash piss poor ass behavior and do some really jacked up things to people. Sometimes we have a way of explaining it away with trying to say, oh, because of this, that's why they're like that. And I think that's really shitty because I think that does a shitty, it gives it gives people the wrong impression about people who may also suffer from like whatever disorder or disability that someone may have, right? So let's take somebody for an example. Let's take somebody who has Down syndrome, right? And I tell you guys the story a lot, and I bring up this book a lot in terms of Mice and Men, in terms of Lenny's character, right? With that being said, so let's say Lenny's character in Mice and Men, we can most definitely assume was probably on some type of spectrum, probably maybe have I'm gonna say some type of spectrum with that being said, or maybe even had some Down syndrome. So I say this to say because I grew up actually, volunteering for 4 years straight. I did this program called Gym Buddies at my high school. And, you had to volunteer and you had to community service hours to graduate. So for 4 years, that's what we did. Really enjoyed it, loved it. Actually, by 11th grade, I think I remember being done with my community service hours, but I continued to do it all the way up into 12 until I graduated. But again, loved it. It was actually something to look forward to. Every Wednesday night, we would meet with the kids who that had the Down syndrome that were in the smaller classes, and you would group up and link up, and it would be like their night out to like play games in the gym. There was food and like just music and dancing and stuff like that, and it was super dope because it gave the, like, I remember back then they used to tell us like how much the kids used to look forward to going out. Like that was their going out. Like, we Friday nights we would go to the dances and stuff like that. And now that I think back, they didn't really come to the dances and stuff like that. But so they didn't really kind of partake in a lot of the different things that we were. So Wednesday night was their thing. So they must definitely look forward to coming out on Wednesday nights. And they were always really super nice and kind. And it was always a good time, right? And I say that to say because I knew them to be amazing kids, right? With that being said, I think what's ended up happening lately is what I find is that some people will find out a diagnosis or feel like someone has a disability and they start explaining their behavior and pointing it and putting it all on the disability. And I'm here to say bullshit. And I don't care what mammy, I don't care what PhD, whatever. I think, people are just not being honest about like, you can have a disability and it does not necessarily equals that, oh, oh, you're also going to be violent. Oh, you have that disability, that also means that you have a propensity for lying, right? That does not mean any of that. That does not mean that, our disability automatically equals or explains away someone just being a fucked up person, right? And I just think that it's really annoying, and I really hate to see it because, we're going to always have people that may have some type of disability, but then that's never the excuse. And it just borderlines, especially within the black community, where I have no problems with saying that we're always, people in my community is always looking for a way to explain their fuck shit and not take accountability, right? And so one of the people that is most definitely an example of that bullshit within this community is most definitely Kanye West for me. And I'm going to always talk about Kanye West in this type of way because it is what it is. And it's really funny, and it's not picking, it's not bullying or any of those things, because once he gets questioned on what he does in terms of his creativity, in terms of what he thinks is entertainment, right? I mean, I'm just going to let's just hear it for yourself. So here we go. We have Kanye West claps back at critics who claim his Yeezy Gap trash bag display was insensitive to homeless people, and he responds with saying, "I'm not here to sit up and apologize about my ideas." Oh.
People have thought that he's been making fun and mocking homeless people and those who are less fortunate, but he says that is not at all his goal and his message, that he's just trying to challenge traditional conventions in the way we dress and make clothing that's more egalitarian and not as pretentious. Do you understand some people have felt that putting clothes in bags is insensitive, perhaps, to homeless and other people?
Look, man, I'm an innovator. And I'm not here to sit up and apologize about my ideas. That's exactly what the media tries to do. Make us apologize for any idea that doesn't fall under exactly the way they want us to think.
He told me that we should not clown the creators, in his words, or the innovators, because that will make innovators and other designers and people who design and invent things less brave. He also points out that these are not garbage bags, as has been reported, but large construction bags. The reason he put the clothes in there, they're folded, is to make people be able to just informally reach in and help themselves with what they want to buy. He says his goal is to make life easier and informal so that we can all basically dress in the dark.
This is like not a joke. This is not a game. This is not just some celebrity collaboration. This is my life. I'm fighting for a position to be able to change clothing and bring the best design to the people.
People have thought that he's been making fun and mocking homeless people.
All right, so that's your man Kanye West. So it's quite clear to see that Kanye West is not well. But at the end of the day, you see how he talks from a very victim standpoint in terms of him being addressed for, maybe coming off a little insensitive. Now, I totally agree with Kanye. I mean, if I don't know why people are trying to imply that he's trying to be insensitive to homeless people. I don't think that's what he's trying to do it at all. I think, he's one of those, like, we've seen this, like, character be portrayed before, like, when they get to this, like, I'm so creative, everything that I think of is a masterpiece, you just can't mess with a creative soul like me, you can't interrupt my genius. The nigga's been telling us he's a genius forever, okay? Like, it's just at the end of the motherfucking day, y'all know he takes himself really, really, really serious. And at the end of the day, like, he's really gonna think everything that he thinks of is some, like, out of the box, some out of the just, like, dope ass fuck shit, and which he has made a lot of dope ass fuck shit, so it's not really to say that he doesn't, but not everything is that, and for me, you're never gonna. I've never been someone that's interested in buying any Yeezy anything. I'm not a brand chaser, but I'm also not a bum wearer. You know what I mean? Because I feel like he makes clothes for bums. That's what I think he is going for, and maybe they thought homeless because of the shit that he makes looks like he's trying to dress the homeless. Now that I would understand more than a garbage bag, tying it in if they just wanted to say the shit that he makes looks like it's made for people who are just sleeping on the street. Most definitely, then I can most definitely understand where they're coming from. But I more or less brought this up in terms because we were talking about mental health, because I wanted you guys to be extremely clear about how some people that we're going around trying to tiptoe around and be ultra sensitive around and their feelings in terms of, like, not saying things that may be insensitive, or, or speaking the fucking truth, that immediately when he's questioned on something that he's done, listen, I'm not going to not be my creative self is the answer. And I'm just out here with that same type of answer. I am out here with that same type of answer. I can't do nothing for you. All of this bothers you. Oh, you bothered by all of this? You bothered by these jokes? You bothered by this laughing? You bothered how I'm dealing with my pain? I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm not making no type of exceptions or considerations for the ops. In terms of, like, what makes me happy overall, right? So with that being said, just seeing Kanye just have that same view is just like, sometimes y'all, it just is what it is. Y'all out here trying to protect somebody who don't give a fuck when they do something. So that's just my whole point of that. But let's go ahead and see what my co-hosts in these comments have to say. Kanye West said, y'all just gonna have to be mad. Exactly, Pooh. And he shouldn't, because people are choosing to be offended at this point. Exactly. And I agree with this. Like, you all ever hang out with somebody who just takes every opportunity to be fucking offended by every fucking thing? Like, I listen, and this is where part of the reason I've come to the conclusion, this is a good spot. So part of the reason I come to the conclusion that this younger generation has issues beyond issues, right? And that's not to say that my generation don't have some issues. That's not to say that we all don't have our issues. But it just seems like we're at this place where people is really too damn sensitive. So, all right. So back to hanging out with someone who gets offended by every fucking thing, right? Because this shit is draining as fuck, right? So I don't really hang out with people too much, not in my age group. So I think I've only hung out with one person in life, like on a regular basis, that's not in my age group. So which means this person would have been in their early 20s. Let's say this person around 23, because I want to make sure when I say what I say that it hits and the people to know who I'm hitting on, right? With that being said, hold on one second. With that being said, I'm not somebody who hangs out with young people. So this person, I was hanging out because I was doing my podcast, and this person applied for an internship at the radio station, and I happened to be going through the mailbox because we had access to it, and I contacted this person because nobody else was contacting this person because they were looking for an internship. So I contacted this person so they could come on and be an intern for the podcast that I was on, right? So quickly, talking to this person, she seemed really cool. We developed a friendship, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, because I want to tell this because I think it's really important when people are out there trying to create narratives about you, that you always make sure that you provide the actual full context of everything, right? Of course, there's been times I've gone through different situations in my life, times that are really, really hard, probably dealt with some dealing with depression and stuff like that. I'll be honest about that, right? So, but as friends, you sharing different things that you've been through and having these conversations and, hold on. All right, so I'm back. So I got to pick up where I left off at, right? So we were talking about hanging out with somebody from like a younger generation. So like I told y'all before, I never really did that before. I never really been attracted to hanging out or had the need or felt the need to hang out with people too much younger than me. I'm very comfortable with my age. I'm very comfortable with who I am. And I'm very comfortable with being around women my same age, right? Now, I will say this, I do most definitely like when it's don't mind the company of a mature younger girl. I love their vigor. I love sometimes that they're not weighed down by like going through a lot of different bullshit in life and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of times I find that they're much easier to be around. With that being said, me and this person started doing my podcast together. We developed a, relationship, a friendship, whatever. And we both mutually shared, right? She shared about, the difficulties and, that she was going through with her mother, different things of feeling some type of neglect and, kind of, ignored a little bit. And I'm not going to sit up here in front because I'll never front because I don't have the fucking front to kick it. We shared the same way with each other in terms of I shared how I felt about my, my experiences that I'm going through with mine. So there's a whole bunch of sharing in terms of like things that we're dealing with. She shared what she was going through with her relationship. I shared what I was going through, blah, 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 blah. I say this to say, because I am talking about, someone who, I'm talking about people who just always find a way to be offended, right? Even if they're not the target of a joke, they find a way to be like super offended and bothered by people having opinions or expressing thoughts that they don't deem are correct, right? And the thing about like when you do a podcast or when you're just somebody who just deals with people in general, and you got to understand like everyone has an opinion, right? And nothing should really cause you to get angry to an extent, because you really just can't control. You don't know why people think the way they think, and it just is what it is. I know there are some things that probably, there's unexcusable when it comes to in terms of like if we're talking about if someone is expressing some type of weird ass thought process and it involves children, most definitely. But just being offended because someone like makes I'm gonna give you an example. Like one time we went to this comedy show, and one of the comedians, he made a joke about Africa, and he had made, a stereotypical joke, which a lot of Americans have always done, and it just is what it is. It's comedy. Again, don't look for me for the tissue just because you can't take a little jokes, right? But anyway, so in the joke, he was talking about, I think he mentioned Africa and people living in huts or something like that. Long story short, she was like super offended by this person making this joke, right? To the point that when I end up at the end of the night, I end up giving this comedian, I think it was the same comedian who made the joke. I end up giving the comedian a joke, and he has a potty mouth. If you know him around town, he does a Wednesday night at the club, and so he talks how he talks. I've always, he's cool, always been cool and nice to me, so I've never really, nothing doesn't bother me. And plus, I'm a real ass woman. When I first met him, he was lippity and he liked to come off, you young girls don't know your pussy from you. Nigga, I know mine's, right? And I know not to wash from the front to the back, okay? Nigga, I know my shit, right? So that being said, I know how to handle mine. You can't talk that shit for me. I know who my daddy is. I'm secure like that. I check the mirror before I leave. I know who I am. Promise you, baby, nobody in these streets gonna tell me something about me that I don't fucking know about myself, right? A compliment is just an addition. It's not the everything, right? So with that being said, I can kick banter and I can kick it back and forth with anybody, right? So with that being said, always been cool with me, and I understand he has a potty mouth and da da da. Somehow, some way, we're in a car, and again, this man does not say anything to this girl out the way. He's just still kind of cracking jokes, of course, inappropriate if depending on your taste. Not politically correct at all. My favorite type of shit, to be completely honest with you. So I'm never really all the way offended, right? Again, so later on, after, me and her have a conversation about, like, what happened, or maybe when he gets out, she starts talking about, like, I can't believe that's not funny, and da-da-da-da, why does he talk like that? Like, just, like, really super offended by that, right? Cool. That's one example, right? I'm trying to give another example of, like, super offended, like, really sensitive. And sometimes these people have a tendency, like, because they're so offended, they kind of flip it into, like something being done to them, and it's sort of like, I can't even believe you're like this bothered. Like, I just can't even believe you're this bothered. Cool. Okay, another example. On the show, I had another co-host and a guy, and they used to like banter back and forth. Again, I'm a very open person, so when it comes to people I hang out with, they'll have different types. This my old me, right? I'm very open to letting people be who they are. Who you are don't define me. I'm not embarrassed by that. If you want to be out here, sucking and fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry and all types of shit. If you want to be out here showing your ass and be all types of sloppy drunks in these streets, cool. You still my girl, and that I mean I'm like talking down on you or anything, but that's not me, and I'm comfortable with who I am, right? So with that being said, I'm never really too much caught up onto like who people are, because again, I'm not like, it's not me. Like, period. It's just not me. So I'm cool with that. So with that being said, I'm trying to think of another example. Also, we have my co-host. So he used to like to banter and play go back and forth. Now this is what I don't like. I don't like someone who will act like they can. They're about that slick talk and that banter or want to make slick comments themselves. But then all of a sudden, when someone makes a slick comment to you, it's like womanist, feminist, activate. How dare you? I told y'all I'm not a radical feminist. So we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna make it seem like as if though you're being picked on or someone is harassing you because you say slick shit and they respond, or you get what I'm saying, or no, that's not what we're gonna do, right? So what else was used to happen when we would go out? Because again, what I hate that happens is that people get to paint narratives without any pushback, and this is what happens when you let people who want to always trying to find a way to either excuse their bullshit or find a way to make themselves a victim of in situations that when you don't allow people to address situations by themselves, or you allow people just to say whatever they want behind people's back and not to their face, then narratives do get created and no pushback is provided to bullshit, right? So I say all this to say, like I said, it is extremely hard hanging out with somebody that is most definitely always trying to find a way to make it seem as if though they're offended by something. And I remember we went to the club one night. And granted, like I said, she is really young. And granted, this crowd was much older than her. And I can totally get not wanting to talk to niggas in that crowd. Because I was the same way, not wanting to talk to niggas in that crowd. One, because they're too old, and one, too ghetto. And one, I'm one of those people I can go out and have a good time around any type of crowd, right? But whether or not I'm in that room looking to take something home, that's something completely different story. That don't always be the case. Not every room is the go home room. Some rooms could be a networking. Some rooms is just to say hey to niggas, right? And you got to understand the difference when you out here, right? So I know all of that, right? So certain situations in some places I be in, I'll be like, yeah, I'm cool to say hi to everybody, keep it cordial. So I feel like, I do agree that you do, get more bees with honey than not, right? So with that being said, my whole thing is over the years, I have met so many men in Boston. I've met because I was helping with the promoting. I was always doing the door at the clubs and stuff like that. So I've been really active, and people, you got to know my face and stuff like that. So I've had several men always trying to get with me and stuff like that. But I've been most definitely true to just being a woman out in these streets and knowing that I know who been in these panties. I know if something is being said, I know how to track that shit down. I know who that coming from, right? And let me tell you something. If a nigga's ever throwing dirt on your name in your vagina, nigga, did you come back? Okay, you liked whatever. Period, poo. Ain't no going back and forth. You doubled back? Oh, you kissed? Oh, you put your lips on my ass? You didn't smell nothing then? And you kept fucking with me? Oh, nigga, you ain't got really nothing to say. Okay, I know what this is about. This was some hating ass shit, but cool. I'm an asshole for real. So with that being said, so we out one night, and like I said, I totally get not wanting to fuck with any niggas in these spots because it is what it is. But I also understand that there's a way in how you do things. And that's not to say that I think you should be some type of dumb it down or just go along because you have to. No, a lot of times I've gotten to know a lot of different people because they will try to get with me, and I'll give them the number. That doesn't mean I'm gonna pick up. So then after that, for me, after I see you in public, we just become cool. Hey, how you doing? We give hugs and, oh, you looking good and stuff like that. And how's everything going? Everything's going good. Never any deep conversation. I need to be completely clear, right? Because tons of people I know, just because you know me, we've been in the same room, just because you see me don't mean you know me. We've been in the same room and we've always just, kept it cordial. I'm telling you this because I'm telling you about somebody who just always finds a way to be offended, right? So my approach with men that I don't want to get with, try to get with me, you can't give the wrong number anymore because they'll call right then and there. So I'll give you the number, but I'll make sure though that I save your number with your name and where I met you at. That's my thing. I'll put that @ sign and where I met you at, so that way I'm crystal clear once I sober up, because things be looking good when you drinking that Douce and pineapple. I'm gonna be completely honest. But baby, so you want to make sure everything's all right when you're not on there, right? So my tactic is like, I'll just gently just play you off, and then we'll just be cool over the time. So that was not this young lady's tactic, and that's cool because you got to learn, right? So I guess a gentleman tried to talk to her, and she just was not feeling him, and she has all right to not be feeling him. She has all right. So I guess some type of way he tried to talk to her. But she had this very stuck up way of like saying, I'm not interested. That kind of would make someone feel some sort of way. I guess it make a man feel some sort of way. And I'm not saying rightfully feel some sort of way. I think some men are just so fragile. Their ego is so fragile. But you know, rejection is really hard, especially in your face and stuff like that. I can most definitely see that. But so I guess she had, and there was 2 occasions that we went out when she rejected somebody and it almost was something. But on this one occasion that she rejected the man, some words were exchanged. I just know that I'm watching from where I'm standing at the bar because I do understand she's a little younger, so I am watching over her. And next thing I know, she's telling the nigga, I'll get my brother to shoot you up and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, you acting like you too good and da-da-da-da-da. So basically, this is what he's saying to her. I'm not putting the blame on her for not wanting to talk to him. But what I am telling you is that when you have a personality and you have a mentality of always trying to be offended, then someone just trying to merely get your number or holler at you, you turn into a situation where you're threatening to have your brother shoot them up, right? And so I tell you that to say, you know, like I said, it is extremely hard. And I tell you that because I wanted to make sure that it was out there, right? I want to make sure that there ain't a bitch out here that think that they're going to talk about me as in the way that they have a leg to stand on in terms of like what's draining, in terms of like, you know, the incidents, in terms of the situations that, you know, I found myself in with hanging out with them. It don't go one way, baby, right? You don't get to sit back and try to critique or tell me or try to criticize how I move about life without someone telling you how the fuck you move in life too, right? So, you know, the super offended is what it is. Even when it came to the show, super offended, didn't want to do the show, didn't like the co-host, and took everything so serious. So, like I said, it two can play this game and it goes both ways, right? So I think sometimes people really need to be knocked off their high horse of thinking that they are just absolutely a ball of magic and ball of fun and all types of sunflowers to be around at all times, right? Because it was constantly times that I was hearing like, what's wrong with her? Why she's always so sensitive? Why is everything a problem? Why you can't joke with her, right? So if someone really starts telling someone the truth about like what they heard, but for me, it really didn't fucking matter. If I was cool with you, that's all that mattered to me, right? And so I ride with that. And granted, sometimes in life you don't get the same response from people, or people aren't going to treat you with the same type of grace that you've managed to extend to them, based on their fuck behavior and the things that you've actually gone through with them too. Period. Right? All right. So let's get into some more of these stories on Instagram. So bear with me. All right, so let me see what I want to go to. I really wanted to cover this Young Thug story because he is back in the news again. If you don't know him, maybe you live under a rock. And I'm gonna do a longer video in terms because I want to talk about Young Gunna. But I will read it here. It says Georgia DA office says gang sympathizer are threatening a witness in the YSL RICO case. So if you don't know, this week it came out on who is snitching on Young Thug and the YSL crew. And it's a gentleman, and I'm only saying his name because it's already been said, but it's really disgusting. But it's a gentleman by the name of YSL Woody. Now, this is where, and this is tricky because I remember a couple months ago I talked about Clubhouse, and I talked about how concerned I was in terms of like what I was able to observe. I have been on Clubhouse doing more observing than I have been doing talking. I hope somebody is going to come out with a book that really puts in a full perspective of like, I give you guys little little stories of what I'm seeing, but it's much deeper than what you think. I've been on Clubhouse and seen people, dox people in terms of personal behavior, tells people's parents information. I've seen someone put someone's children's picture up. Like, it really goes really, really, really bad. It's really, really gross. And my whole thing, it really was always hard for me to understand, because it was like, we're still on an audio app, and who the fuck is hurt from this audio app that you're going to the extent to get someone's tax returns? And like, what? We do some of the most ghettoest, just ugh. Like, what I've seen on Clubhouse, like, I've seen people form like gangs, like, in terms of, like, I just didn't think that was even possible after you left a certain age. I most definitely understand how a young man or a young person gets caught up in a gang. But when I'm getting online and seeing people and seeing Lord of the Flies in 2022 in terms of, like, how people section off in groups and create these little posses, it blows my mind. Because I thought we got grown to be our own individualized people, not to follow behind people, right? And so you have people picking up people's beefs online. It's just really, really bad. So like I said, I really hope somebody is, like, really putting this all together and observing this. I seen somebody HIV information got exposed. People are making fun of people with HIV. I've seen people try to stage, like, situations where they're making people think they killed themselves. Like, it's just really been a fucking lot, right? So I say that to say, in terms of, like, talking about Young Thug and, sympathizers and people exposing people's information, I'm just not really surprised that someone has managed to get their hands on affidavits and things that would have a witness's name, because ultimately this is what I was fearing when I started to realize that people are sitting on their jobs as unit coordinators in these different hospitals and having access to different information and stuff, that people are really accessing people's information and doing them dirty and sending them to people just because they can, and they get a thrill out of it. And it's so fucking sick. I mean, we most definitely seen that when Tasha K was able to access of all of R. Kelly's kind of communications that he was doing while he was in prison, in which she was so callous with letting it be known that she was most definitely getting it, like, fresh off the press. Like, it was sort of like Tasha K would go live at 6 o'clock and probably R. Kelly got in trouble at 5:30 and she would already have the news. Like, that's how quick the turnaround was, that you absolutely positively knew that she had somebody on the inside, right? But then there was another example of, like, when Wendy Williams's ex-husband was having a baby with his mistress. She literally had somebody who was, like, providing her, a nurse that was providing her information, like she was in the labor and the delivery room, right? And so at that point I was like, oh, this shit is ugly. I'm seeing what I'm seeing on Clubhouse, and I'm like, this shit is ugly, right? So seeing what this paperwork being exposed by Young Thug, not surprised. Not surprised at all. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some type of somebody who works at a courthouse or somebody who just has access to seeing this information that's releasing it, right? I think everybody knows, like, if you from the hood, if I get this nigga this information, I'm gonna make some money. Like, somebody gonna, like, it just is what it is. It goes down like that. So I'm not surprised, and I'm not surprised, like, people are going to, do the most, which is really weird on with this Young Thug situation, because people are really, really hurt or really bothered and really want this man free. And I was like, we're out here talking about this is a black man that they're trying to pull down and they're trying to tear down, they're trying to put the hammer on, they're trying to give him them football years. But at the same time, when this man was free, living his life, he didn't give a fuck about any of these black issues. And he is notoriously known for saying that he does not give a fuck. He didn't give a fuck about that black shit. So I'm just trying to understand, we're these sympathizers that's literally, there's already been like a 12, 13-year-old boy who got in trouble for it. I think he threatened the DA right now. Like, that's already been happening. And this kid and Young Thug don't give a fuck about no pro-black shit. Don't give a fuck about no pro-black shit. And he told you that, right? So I don't think anybody should be out here picking up the mantle and feeling like they want to march for a little fucking Young Thug or say this is another black man they're trying to tear down. At the end of the day, he ain't here for none of that. And if you got arrested and if you were the next George Floyd, that motherfucker said he don't give a fuck about none of that. Slime life, my nigga. What that do to me? Real shit, right? Real shit for him. Not me. Real shit. This is how he looked at things, right? So we're not going to cry too many tears about Young Thug. We just going to try to clean up Atlanta so he can get back safe again. So I can come back and visit, right? Because it's all about me visiting. All right. So Georgia DA says gang sympathizers are threatening a witness in the YSL RICO case. All right. So let's go ahead and get in there. All right, so this is on Baller Alert, and it says a witness in a RICO case involving rapper Young Thug and YSL was outed online, and now they're reportedly being threatened by gang sympathizers. Now, originally, it's been I believe from what I've seen that Academics is the first person to report that the person was this person named YSL Woody. And that's really important that, y'all know that it's Academics. A witness in the RICO case involving rapper Young Thug and YSL was outed online, and now they're reportedly being threatened by gang sympathizers. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis revealed this week that documents naming a cooperating witness leaked online, and now the person and their family, which includes very small children, have been subjected to multiple threats. Willis said authorities are investigating who leaked the witness name that reportedly happened during discovery, which in legal terms refers to the material one side turns over to the other following an indictment to even the playing field before the trial. YSL enthusiasts and or actual gang members are threatening someone they believe is cooperating with the state, Willis said. And not only that person, but their very small children. Willis says the DA office is taking precaution and working to keep all witnesses safe. We're going to have to do things to make sure that the witnesses are safe. We need people to understand that they can cooperate. They can do the right thing, and the state will be here to protect them, Willis said. Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, seemingly agrees with the DA and says people should not be outing witnesses. And so this is the lawyer for Young Thug says, whomever is placing items of discovery online is not doing anybody a favor. It is totally inappropriate to try this case in the social media. This case will be tried fairly and justly in Fulton County Superior Court, Steele said. Mr. Williams has committed no crime whatsoever. I look forward to the commencement of the grand jury. To read the rest log on. So it says to read the rest log on to balleralert.com. So basically, his lawyer is also saying this is not helping him because he's absolutely positively right. Because all it's actually really doing is proving when they keep going back to, trying to get bail, and the DA and the state is saying no, too high risk, too dangerous. This is actually giving them more evidence, right? That they can actually be able to provide that the fact that they already have a witness whose information has been leaked, and there's already been some threats against this witness, right? So, most definitely, this is just really, really not helping his case at all. So let's see what my co-hosts in the comments say, but not on top of that, but this is, again, another sign on how confused we come across, right? A lot of people want their communities cleaned up. A lot of people want the violence to stop. But the minute that we find a source or a part of the problem, all of a sudden, y'all doing too much. I had tickets to go see him in concert. Why y'all fucking it up? Right? The shit that don't matter all of a sudden matter again. Ain't nobody gonna die. Ain't nobody gonna miss nothing. The world is not gonna end. There's nothing that the world is missing by this nigga going to go sit his ass down. All right, so let's get into these comments. Y'all trying to go to jail behind this? That shit is crazy. Listen, I have my top five. So, I have my faves, y'all. I have my faves. But ain't nobody going to jail over Beyonce, Giselle, Carter knows. I mean, Knowles Carter. Like, ain't nobody going to jail. Ain't nobody going to jail over Michelle Kimberly Page. Ain't nobody going to jail. Nobody going to jail over Kenya Moore. I ain't going. I'm too cute for that. The rap game finna be different. No cap. Listen, like, as if though that matter. Well, Atlanta about to go back to being safer. That's all we care about. Anyone else read the Georgia DA office instead of DA office? Laugh out loud. Thought this was a new rapper at first. That boy fans about to get him another charge, and that's a fact. The fact that this is still at the state level and has not been picked up by the feds leads me to believe they have a chance to beat this. Just my thoughts. I don't know. I mean, I do want the feds to pick it up because, I just feel so much secure with knowing that they have it, with their, successful conviction rate. We really are going to lean into that. So almost definitely that makes me feel better. But when you got a nigga on the wiretaps, ordering hits and shit like that, you kind of I don't know how much you gonna get around that. But let's see what else. 28 people in that indictment. If you surprise someone telling you really don't be outside for real. When I heard the numbers, I said to my brother, I said they at least got 5 or 6. They at least got 5 or 6. And the reason why I had said they at least got 5 or 6 snitches, 28 people is a lot of people. And so the reason I said 5 or 6, because for them to even be able to get that many people, that means that whoever was snitching was able to provide sufficient evidence and being able to tie all these people in together. So listen, so that's why I was like, yeah, gotta be 5 or 6 people. 5 or 6, and I stand by that, that have probably snitched on this situation. Lock them up too with no bail and give them the max for witness tampering. Sorry to say, one of the biggest threats to the community are the folks who terrorize their own community. Listen, anybody got time for that? Ain't nobody got time for that. And like I said, I think hindsight 2020, even thinking about the 94 crime bill, and I heard someone speaking that I listened to the other day, and they brought up the 94 crime bill, and people want to demonize it, and there's a lot to demonize. But at the same time, I don't think you can escape reality without acknowledging the fact that you would have wanted a crime bill too if you were back in those days. Promise you. I'm in 2022 looking around like, y'all ain't gonna lock these niggas up. Y'all gonna let these niggas walk around with guns? I can't come outside. Like, yeah, I'm like that in 2022. Yeah, We got Atlanta with a whole bunch of concerts being shut down and stuff like that because it's just not safe, right? So there's a lot going on, right? There's too much crime that we're seeing that we can't act like we can't understand whatever was going and wanting some type of intervention, right? So no, like I said, when it comes to the privatizations of like the judicial, of the penitentiary system and all of that came from it, most definitely not for that bullshit. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, I'm not quite sure what people want the government to do in response if it's not to make sure that people aren't sitting down for a long periods of time. And I'm not naive, and I most definitely do know that jail does not defer. It does not keep people away from committing crimes. I totally agree. I mean, I know that it doesn't, right? Because everyone knows that there's a possibility that if you do this and this and that you would end up in jail. So with that being said, but that does not mean that we don't hand out the punishment, right? Because San Francisco right now and a whole bunch of cities that have tried to take a more, leftist progressive type of approach to dealing with things is really suffering, right? A lot of people are moving out of certain cities because of the violence, right? So, and I remember this is before all of this jumped off and we had this situation in Boston, and we had the situation where people were going into like different stores, different clothing stores, like at like the Macy's, like something like that, and Nordstrom's and stuff like that, and they were stealing these expensive Montclair and Goose coats and stuff like that. And so in some of the videos that we would see like 4 or 5 people would act like they're looking around, of course grab whatever coats they want, and they tried to run out. And so in one of these videos, I remember it as clear as day because they weren't up north. They weren't in the city area of Boston. They went far out, so right, to like a luxury coat store You know what I mean? So they went far out to, hit this store. So I remember watching the video, and I remember there was this old man that was trying to stand in the way. Long story short, that this old man got knocked down or something like that. And I remember saying to myself, because at this time, our DA had went in, and she's not, they weren't going to prosecute, misdemeanors, just crimes that were just low dollar crimes, like, basically. So they were just trying to, work with people. This is what you asked for. But, don't try to, sentence people too harshly, try to give people chances and stuff. This is what people asked for, and people were trying to give it to. And I remember saying that when I seen this video, I said, I don't think you guys understand, if you continue to go into these stores and you continue to rob these stores the way you are, that you are going to force our DA to prosecute at a higher rate these types of crimes, if you don't understand that you're bringing it on yourself. And so what I tell you that to say, laws in general are most definitely created to deal with their situation, right? It addresses violence. It addresses what's going on in the community. So with that being said, you really have no one to be mad about. Mad with except yourselves, because at this point you would be bringing it on yourself if they decide to, tighten the jaws and go back to the way things used to be. And that's extremely important that we know that. I blame the DA office. Y'all knew as soon as discovery was giving up, this would probably happen. Instead of protecting the witness, which is helping y'all too busy ignoring the facts. Don't y'all watch Law and Order? Yes, we do watch Law and Order, but do you also know that part of discovery and providing that information is something that you have to do, right? They're trying to hold it as long as possible, but it's literally so that way you can make sure that you're being fair to the other side. That's something they have to do. So they literally can't hold on to the name until like the day of the trial, because that does not give the other side time to prepare, poke holes, or know where that other person may be, know where the district attorney in the office may be coming from. So as much as you want to say that they know, like, that's not how the law works. And if they did not provide this information, they could possibly lose this case because of that, like things like that. So no. I've watched Law and Order too, so yes, chick. Anybody else read Georgia DA office versus? Oh, I already read that. What else? How y'all think this is helping? That's because they trying to include and involve everybody. Just use the evidence y'all got. I don't know what this person is saying, but I just wanted to share that in my thoughts about that. We just really lack consistency on like really what we want in terms of the community. All right, so let's get into a different story. Where we want to go. Shout out to them actually prosecuting and getting the gentleman that killed XXXTENTACION. And I believe that this is probably one of the early cases of like XX when he got murdered. It was just blew my mind because the people who killed him like literally went online with the money, like, and showed it off. And like it was just like this case was like a open slam type of case, like, because that's how much people are telling on themselves. So when Fanny says social media has been an immense help to our case, and like, she's telling you the fucking truth. We ain't got to leave here. We can actually get Dunkin' Donuts to deliver right now and Uber Eats and eat donuts and sit here and watch our niggas tell us what you've been out here doing. Like, literally, that's just what it is. Okay, so we have Diddy saying who killed R&B. Ooh, Diddy. Who killed R&B? Now, Diddy, you are great. I just want to make sure that I give you your flowers before I You are great. Everything that you just got awarded with in terms of like the BET, like, achievement awards and stuff like that. Now, them rumors is them rumors, and Wendy, it is what it is, right? That's water underneath the bridge. We all know what's up, right? With that being said, who killed R&B? And you most definitely just want to make sure that you are the remix king. Take that, shiny suits and everything. But with that being said, you are also part of the what killed R&B, if you want to be completely honest with it, right? we've seen the dumbing down of R&B, and we've seen, you know, men like you uh take a particular liking to a certain look, and you've made sure to reward that certain type of look with some type of praise or record deals and stuff like that. And you know, at the end of the day, as much as you want to talk about it, I think for me, when I realized like you were, you know, dumbing it down in terms of like music ability, had to be with Cassie. I mean, I think we all seen that for what it was. I think we all seen that for what it was. Like, okay, so you must be attracted to her. Like, because it's really not because she's like the dopest vocal singer. But in terms of like, even when you went to pick different girls for the, you know, your girl groups and stuff like that, you didn't go for the traditional R&B singers that like really had those voices like that, right? You wanted that popish type of sound and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure there's probably women who were already signed to your labels that probably speak to the same thing, as if though, you know, you didn't pay them a lot of attention because you wanted to go for that younger Cassie type of sound, you know, Danity Kane type of sound. That was not traditional R&B. So if you're asking a rhetorical question, who killed R&B, you know, just raise your hand a little bit, just a little bit. You can raise your pinky. You most definitely have something to do with it a little bit. But let's see what my co-hosts in the comments have to say. I don't know, Diddy. Maybe your contracts, but is R&B even dead neighbors? Ooh, wait. They giving it up already. I mean, the neighborhood talk is giving it up. Usher said it was T-Pain who did it. The caption, listen, the caption, it says it. R&B is alive and safe with DVSN. Caption got me weak, that caption. The contracts took me out. And someone said, your son. Someone said, y'all stop singing in the rain. Listen, you, by not paying your artists. Someone said, laughing my ass off, your captions got me every time. Someone said, Jacquees. Yo, can I tell you one of the funniest things I ever seen, like clips I ever came across, was Jacquees and Anthony Hamilton in the elevator. And it was just so awkward because Jacquees was like fanboying over Anthony Hamilton, and just telling how much he's a fan. I think he even started singing one of his songs, and I think Anthony was like, I will fuck this nigga up. He gonna remix my shit and put my shit. It was just funny because Anthony was not trying to give him, I don't know, it wasn't warm. And he was just looking at him, oh man, all right, I appreciate you. Because I felt like when I watched the video, I was like, I think he heard about you, my nigga. I think he heard that you that nigga that come through and try to take people's songs and redo them and call it your own. Without going in that studio and putting your pen to putting your pen to the paper and making your own classics, right? You done remixed and sung everybody else's shit. I think her is finally happy that you were off her shit. I think it was her that you were copying. I don't know. There's somebody music that you just stayed on their shit. But with that being said, yeah, that shit was funny. So this person said, Jacquees, let's go. I just don't feel it down in my soul anymore, right? You not paying them artists in the 90s. Facts. I forgot what's her name. What is her name? Nicole Ray. I seen the the unsung in Nicole Ray, and they just say, Diddy, you just stop calling them. You stopped calling them and started calling Cassie, Aubrey, and them, and D Woods and all them. That's who you were calling. You weren't calling people like Nicole Ray and Pam, Keisha and Kima and them. You weren't even calling Faith like that. Like, people could actually sing the R&B. You had R&B singers. You just didn't care for them all like that. R&B being complacent isn't only the artist's fault. Labels/radios don't play significance behind the genre like they once did. Orlando Brown. Every time a song was good, he came in trying to sing over people. He played a major role. Oh, that is true. He was most definitely on them songs hard. I mean, but I will say one of my favorite like R&B songs with Diddy's voice all over it is the Keisha Cole's Last night, I didn't get an answer. I don't know. It's a song that he got with Keisha Cole that I really, really love. And I remember when they were in the studio. But yeah, I remember that. That was a really dope song. Okay, what else do we want to talk about? What else? This was so hard for me to talk about. Y'all see this sensitive content. Wendy's employee charged with second-degree murder after elderly customer he sucker punched died from his injuries. Do y'all hear me? Like, I can't play the video, but if you, I can't watch that shit. I'm not gonna be completely honest. It turns my stomach. But if you're looking at the screen, you can most definitely see that this man is hunched over. He's not threatening. This employee would have had to come around the counter, so it was not like he was in fear of something happening to him. You could also see how he is reaching back. He's reaching back like how you could in fucking Mortal Kombat or some shit to hit this old man, and he knocks him out. Well, long story short, this old man ended up dying, and now he's being charged. Like, and it was because the old man complained about something being cold. Like what's going on that it's that bad, right? Fuck women and the gender wars. We are literally seeing fragile masculinity playing out, even when it comes to the old, when it comes to the women, when it comes to like, this is just really, really bad when it comes to like other men. And so when I hear men always talk about women are emotional and stuff like that, bullshit. Y'all are more emotional than us. Because anytime that things could lead to, like, everything is leading to violence, that means that you're the more emotional creatures between us two. Like, just period, point blank. You have more violent crimes against old people, women, men, children. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I don't even understand why people even kind of buy into that bullshit that women are more emotional. No, anger is most definitely an emotion, and black men right now cannot control their anger, and it's disgusting. All right, so what else did I want to talk about real quick? Listen, I said this. I said this like a month ago. Like, I am tired of people taking advantage of Orlando Brown. Y'all know he's not well. Y'all see these dark Kenya looking lips that he got on him, and he used to be just a pecan brown, but his fucking lips are just, they're blacker than black is basically what I'm trying to say. So you got Orlando Brown looking like he out here trying to audition for 2020 versions of New Jack City Pookie. He's looking like he is totally on that shit, allegedly, because we love allegedly. All this shit is allegedly. But I'm going to go ahead and play it for you because this nigga is crazy.
Yeah, son. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You gave me the oosh wash. I love it, yo.
I love vacation sex. You just get nastier. If you...
You know what I mean? I got my dick board. I'm sorry. I started licking my lip. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yo, Diddy, you gave me the oosh wash. You gave me the oosh muaf. The swoosh wash. Diddy. Yeah, son. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You gave me the oosh wash. I love it, yo. I love it. You gave me the oosh wash.
Now, I'm not fluent in crackhead speech. I'm not fluent in it. But I think the ooshkosh is we call neck. Guac. I think he's talking about neck, to be completely honest. And he says, I love it. So basically, this is Orlando Brown claims Diddy gave him some guac. So, I mean, if you speak crackhead, please to let me know in the comments, because clearly this nigga is gone. Look at his hair. He look like one of the munchkins with the green hair. This nigga is gone, yo. When they start making up new languages and shit, they gone. Look at her. Okay. Okay, but as much as I'm laughing right now, I think it's disgusting. I said about a month ago, if you're still interviewing him after he's made all these comments, I mean, it originally started with what he said about Raven-Symoné a few years ago, talking about she had that bomb, whatever, just being really inappropriate. At some point in time, we have to understand, like, this is exploitation, right? You're exploiting somebody with severe mental health issues, and you don't need a doctor to tell you what it is. We all see what it is. You know what I mean? And so I think for some reason, for people to feel like somebody needs to tell you to do the right thing or tell you what you already know, bullshit, right? People are just using him for their streams, to be, to go viral and stuff like that. But I have to be completely honest, I don't know if he's getting paid, and that's why he's doing this too, right? So he could have his own motives on why he's doing it also. Hold on one second. He could have his own motives on why he's doing it, right? This could be his way of, putting himself back out there and going viral. People are doing so much shit to go viral nowadays, so you just never know, like, the real from the fake, and it just is what it is. But let's see what my co-hosts have to say. Man, someone said, man, be tripping. He better, not tell what we did. William the baddest. Oh, what did y'all do? Okay. Y'all surprised? Andrew Caldwell. Andrew, if you not gay no more, then you don't know no more gay business, right? You don't know no more about your gay life. Like, you supposed to let that shit go unless you really trying to tell us something. But now, you already been too relying on good brother Cordell Stewart, okay? Don't say nothing that you can't back up with some fucking receipts, Andrew Caldwell, okay? Now, you say you ain't gay no more, and we still don't believe you, because... Because we can't trick ourselves into believing you, motherfucker. Oh, we just can't. Again. Someone said he's actually disgusting. Bougie, this motherfucker is crazy. He French Montana voice. If you believe this, you smoking the same shit he's smoking. 1,432 likes. Someone said, wow, the closet door been busting open this week. Laugh out loud. I'm tired of him. Father God. Someone said, when he was on the right track, he seemed to be doing better, supporting his family, rededicating his life to God. I noticed no media outlets really spoke about it much, but as soon as he falls again, now he's everywhere. This man is clearly fighting demons. But yeah, he is most definitely clearly fighting demons. But when you mean, like, I do remember when they were, like, someone did mention him, doing better, taking care of himself. But you want people to, like, report on him, like, every day at home doing nothing and going to churches. I'm like, I'm confused. Like, how much reporting did you want on him trying to live a regular life? This nigga's clearly putting himself out there. So every time he says something, I'm just like, cause I can't. Now the Diddy probe is true. Laugh out loud. He doesn't need to be doing any interview. He needs help. Facts. Now this I believe. You know what it is? I actually think, sometimes some people, just like Kanye, people just gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm still gonna be able to get the attention or maybe make the money I need to by doing these interviews. He most definitely is aware that there's always been these rumors about Diddy. So, him feeding it's not like Diddy can turn around and just be like, sue him because no one in this world thinks that he's not maybe allegedly gay and stuff like that. That's something that we've all just been hearing for years, like Wendy Williams first, and then of course Jaguar Wright most definitely came out and told some stories about walking in or seeing some things, and I don't know, he taking people's innocence and some men's innocence and shit like that, allegedly. But it's all on the YouTube, and you can go find it yourself if you want to hear. Well, that's believable. So it's all right, we're going to do one more. We're going to go ahead and get out of here on that one. This motherfucker got to be the stupidest nigga in the world. How dumb. Murder suspect wanted by police calls 911 over cold McDonald's fries. Ends up getting caught, getting that ass arrested. Like, listen. Like... he should have gotten arrested for calling the fucking police over some cold ass fries any fucking way. Our police, I don't care, this is not a black and white issue. They do not have time to be coming to fucking restaurants because you don't like your order or cold fries, right? Like, because for you to I'm gonna shoot. The restaurant's bill at this point in time. As much as I think service has been awful since the pandemic, like really really bad. I've never went to any restaurant where you complained about the fries. You catch it before you leave, and you tell them that the fries are cold, and they don't make you any more fries, right? So this led me to believe that something else happened, like before them not to want to replace your cold ass fries because it's nothing. I promise them fries don't cost McDonald's not a damn thing to throw out and to drop you some new ones. And if you're really smart, you're supposed to say no salt so you make them drop you some, and so you can get you some hot fries, right? And so with that being said, when I first seen the story, I was like, something else happened. He missing some. He was rude, and he got into an argument with these people, and they didn't want to remake his shit. Like, so for me, it was like, nah, it just wasn't because of no cold fries. But long story short, this nigga, you called the police on yourself. You did it to yourself.
I guess it's something wrong with that server. A lady before us tried to order on the little box thing. She said that wasn't working. He had to stop us from ordering and go help her. Okay. So he probably frustrated at work. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole scenario. Okay. I get.
So why'd y'all call? So like what happened?
Because he ordered the food. He couldn't print us a receipt. Okay. So he said the receipt would be printed in the back. So I said okay. So we sat down. Me and my fiance looking for homes around here. Gotcha. So we went back to Progressive Realms looking at homes. I guess our order was called. But we don't even know our order number. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So now our food is sitting there closed. So when I come up, I say, I try the fries. The fries they're lukewarm, but they're not hot. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I just asked him, can we get some fresh fries? Okay. He said, okay, the fries are not hot. Touch the fries. I said, no, they're not hot. And at this point, you done touched them. So, yeah, I just get a fresh set. Okay. So is he getting the fries? I said, can I also get the receipt? That was 5 minutes ago. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, sir. 5 minutes ago, I can run my store however I want to run my store. It's not, sir, I done paid. He said, matter of fact, you can leave my property. You have my property now. Or you can come and get, I do a refund. I say, sir, with CashApp card, this 3 to 7 business days to do a refund. Just give me my set of fries and my receipt. That's what you're supposed to do anyway when I pay for my order. Okay. This is not my store. He's telling me this is his business. He owns this. Like, it's not that deep. We just the fries and the burger.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, maybe I have to get your information.
Okay.
What's your last name?
Sims.
S-I-M-S?
S-I-M-E-S.
E-S. And first name?
A-N-T-O-I-N-E.
O-I-A-N-E. A-N-T-O-I-A-N-E. What's your birthday? Alright. What's the telephone number for you? Alright.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let you know he called as well. So y'all both called.
Yeah, we both called.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to go in and talk to him. Hey, Carl, will you hang out with him? Alright, here's the deal. As a business owner, he has the right to not remake your food. He is willing to do a refund. He has no problems doing a refund, but he's not going to remake your food. As a business owner, he can do that. He does not want you coming back in the store. He actually wants us to come in and trespass you, so you will not be allowed back at this McDonald's.
I don't even stay here.
It doesn't matter. He's requested it. We got to do it. It's not a big deal. It's a piece of...
Charge me?
No, we're not charging you. It's a piece of paper we're going to give you that's going to say, hey, you can't come back to this McDonald's. That's all it is.
Wow. No, just realistically, did I do anything?
I don't know. I'm not here to even figure that out. I'm here to keep the peace. Yeah, this is completely civil. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to complain about it. No,
so-
it's fine, man. I just don't understand what I did wrong.
no, you're good. Your CT forms? Okay, I have CT forms. That's fine. It's not a big deal. So look, all right. So this is civil, okay? As a business owner, he has the right to refuse service to anyone he chooses to refuse service to. Just like if you owned a business, you have the same right to do the same thing. Exactly. If you owned a physical business, like you have you can CT whoever the hell you want. You can do whatever. As long as it's within the law, and that's within the law, okay? All right, so hang out with him. I'm going to get that form. It's a simple form that says, hey, just don't come back to this McDonald's. Now, I'll tell you, if you do come back to this McDonald's when you get caught out here,
No.
you go to jail.
I'm not.
All right?
I'm not. I got it smart.
So, you cool with the refund?
Yeah, so I just got to go in there and tap my phone.
Yeah, I will get that in just a second, okay? All right, Mr. Sims, come over here. I'm going to have you sign this.
I'm not under arrest or anything, am I?
No, sir. Just come over here. I'm gonna have you sign this real quick.
I said I'm not under arrest.
No, you're not. Yeah, just come over here. I'm gonna have you sign this real quick.
You have to sign it saying that you don't have to come back to the property.
So you'll fill this part out.
Can I see it, sir?
Yeah. Will you come over here, man?
No, I'm afraid of y'all, sir.
Why are you afraid?
3 years, sir. I'm afraid of you.
All right, I'm gonna walk you through. Why are you doing that?
I know how to fill it out.
Why are you doing that?
I know how to fill. Am I
Right,
arrested?
yeah.
No, let's do it again.
Car. 6-2 Kennesaw, call cop. Got him! Contact! Backside! Taser deployed! Put your hands out! Hands out! Do not move! Give me contact!
That nigga thought he was just like cool as like just a normal nigga, just having a regular conversation with the police officer. I don't even understand why he gave him the right last name to even look him up. Like, that don't even make no sense to me. If you already said that you didn't have any IDs, right? Like, you know you ain't no squeaky clean nigga. I would have been afraid something old could have came back. I would have been afraid. There was just no way. If I didn't give you any IDs, I'm not going to give you my fucking real first and last name. Like, that didn't even make any sense. So, this nigga really brought this on himself, and he was screaming like a bitch when that taser hit him. Like, so, it just is what it is, nigga. You really brought that on yourself. Like, over fries. Now you in jail? Like, that's crazy. So let's see what the co-host says. Enjoy all the cold fries in the slammer now, sir. Like, shit don't make no sense. McDonald's fries cold are really bad in his defense. There is nothing worse than getting some cold ass McDonald's fries. Like, I promise you, it's like the highlight is the fries sometimes. Like, fresh food will be the least of his worries now. Listen, that bologna sandwiches and potato chips. He gonna be dreaming about some McDonald's fries. He had to be high. No, that nigga was not high. He was having a whole conversation. He was articulate and he was calm. He thought he had a leg to stand on about his cold fries. He should have just took the refund. He forgot. Someone said he forgot. Like, he forgot about that warrant. He forgot about that murder that allegedly that he's being charged for. He was telling on himself. Kept asking, is he arrested? He screamed like that man on Home Alone when he got shot, bruh. A child left behind because what was he thinking? Dude just snitched on himself, basically. Listen, that scream got it. He just basically wanted to go to jail. Wow, there are people out here that are actually this damn slow. Cold fries and broken ice cream machines trigger folks. Laugh out loud. Them screams after he got tasered, baby. I don't never want to feel that. That shit right there. Damn. I don't never want to feel that. All right, one more. We're going to get off of here. We got Miss Andrea Kelly, doing and showing us what she do and what she was doing for Mr. Kells himself. So you know why people got, he had a certain type. She most definitely got that body type that she likes, very similar to Dominique's. I heard she was on the back of that van too, that back of that bus, getting down with the get down, allegedly. If you go, some interviews, from former people that was there too, on them people's YouTubes that says that she most definitely knew everything that was going on, and she knew who he was, and that she really loved her life in terms of like what she was getting from it. That's not to say that she didn't experience some trauma because of it, but I do not think that she was unaware of what was happening. You'd have to be living underneath the rock, and from the way I've listened and heard people from Chicago talk about him, and everyone knew, girly, when you gonna really tell the truth about it? Because you just knew. Now this shit is fire though. Now she really can move. she was probably really flexible when doing some things. That's what it comes across to me. But that's just me. She be eating it up. Her body's dope. I'm trying this. I would have tripped and fell for sure. She's so damn talented though. The new moonwalk. Okay. Reminds me when Aunt Viv went into the audition. That shit is still the best, like one of the best scenes. Me when I'm about to leave the party, but hear my joint come on. Nah, she killed this. That ain't easy. It sure ain't. She did that. She most definitely did that. Let's not act like sis ain't top tier dancer. Very much so. I'm high and screaming like, I don't know why this is funny, but it is funny. Let me go try this real quick. Her buns and thighs look so toned. Lord, I see what you doing for others. Work it, girl. When my shift ends at 4 and it's 3:58, okay? That moment you finally clock out for the day, knowing you off for the next 2 days. She looks so good. She do. She most definitely do. She's most definitely kept her body and looks amazing. Looks amazing. I'm just saying. She toned as fuck, someone said. Reverse catwalk. Okay, girl. Leaving R. Kelly like this. All right, y'all. So that's all we got today. And thank you so much for tuning into to my Instagram scroll. Y'all know how I do here. I just like to cut up and talk some shit for a little bit. But y'all know how I do. Keep it bougie SF. Keep it posh SF. Keep it black SF. And y'all be black, y'all. I'm out. Bye.